So far this season in the Championship, we have seen some absolutely outrageous goals. So what I thought we'd do for today's video is go through every Championship club and I'll give you my view for what I believe to be the best goal that they've scored so far this season. Let me know down below what you think is the best goal your team scored so far this season. And before we do get into anything, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors over at OneFootball. You can check out their link in the top line of the description down below. A really good place to keep up to date with all the latest ongoings in football, as we do have this break in the season. Now the EFL announced the other day that we're not going to be seeing football until at least the end of April, and even then I'm not sure if we're going to be getting it back then, but it does look more than likely that we will be completing this season, which I think is a good thing. So to keep up to date with everything going on, OneFootball is a really handy place to do that. And before we do actually hop into the video, I just wanted to give a quick mention to obviously the sad news of Peter Whittingham passing the other day. I think that growing up and watching the Championship as a North End fan, obviously it was the Coca-Cola Championship back in the day. Peter Whittingham was the first player you'd associate with the league then. I mean, speaking of the goals that we're going to be talking about today, Peter Whittingham was like the iconic Championship person to be scoring banger after banger. I think in terms of Championship football, no one else has left a bigger legacy than Peter Whittingham. So the news the other day really was devastating. And so of course I wish all the best to Cardiff and everyone associated with Peter Whittingham. So now guys, without any further ado, let's hop into this one. Barnsley, Cauley Woodrow against Charlton. This goal was absolutely outrageous. The ball fell to him on the edge of the box. He took one touch to chip it up to himself, and then the second one was an absolutely arrowing finish into the top corner. In terms of technique, probably one of the best we're going to see on this list. It was an absolute banger from Woodrow. It was right on the edge of the box, and quite similar to that goal that Ruben Neves scored a couple of seasons ago in the Championship when he laid himself off for a volley against Derby. Wasn't quite as far out, but the technique on it was absolutely superb. Birmingham, Ivan Sunjic versus Derby. He hits this one so cleanly. The ball falls to him on the edge of the box. He absolutely leathers it. But the camera angle behind the goal really does this one justice. It shows how the ball rises into the top corner, and it was an absolute belter. Another honourable mention for Birmingham was Bella's free kick against Reading. That one was an absolute scorcher of a finish, but I think I'm just edging towards Sunjic. It was such a satisfying goal. Blackburn Rovers, Bradley Dack against Brentford. This was the moment where Blackburn out Brentford, if that makes sense. The build-up play to this goal was absolutely superb, working the ball from back to front. It was Stuart Downing with the penultimate pass across the box, and then he left Bradley Dack with a tap-in. But the build-up and the way that Blackburn worked this goal was absolutely superb. For me, that just tips it off as their best goal this season. Brentford, Ollie Watkins versus Blackburn. We're going to the reverse fixture for Brentford's best goal this season, and what a goal it was. A long ball chipped over the top. Ollie Watkins manages to beat the offside trap, takes one touch to chest it down, and then on the half volley, absolutely launches it in the top corner past Walton. The goalkeeper stood absolutely no chance, and probably one of the goals of the season so far in this whole list that we're going to talk about. The technique was superb. Watkins has been fantastic this season, but I don't think he's topping that goal. It was an absolute beauty. Bristol City, Josh Brownhill versus Cardiff. Oh my god, if you're going to win a game with a goal, this is not a bad way to do it. 25 yards out, he took one touch to settle himself, and then absolutely belted it into the top corner, and Neil Etheridge stood absolutely no chance. We all know Josh Brownhill's got it in his locker to score absolute bangers. Obviously, he's no longer at Bristol City, leaving them in January, but I mean, what a parting gift to leave them with, that goal against Cardiff. Cardiff, Robert Glatzel versus Leeds. Let's be real, this one is all about the assist, but oh my god, what an assist it was. It was an absolutely bonkers game which finished 3-3. This was the goal to level it up for Cardiff. They were away at Ellen Road, they were 3 goals down, but what a goal to level it up. A ball was launched forward into Lee Tomlin, and then he did sort of a 360 pirouette in the air, backheeled it into the path of Glatzel. That managed to evade the Leeds defence, and then Glatzel with a nice finish made it 3-3, but oh my word, that assist from Lee Tomlin was outrageous. Charlton, Conor Gallagher versus Derby. It's a shame that Conor Gallagher's no longer there, but what a goal this was. He set himself up for about 25 yards out. Derby had about 8 people behind the ball. There was no real space to pass into, so Gallagher thought he'd have a pop at goal, and what a pop it was. Top bins. This one was hit so cleanly and gets into a satisfying goals compilation with the way it hits the back of the net. Absolute belt from Gallagher. Derby, Louis Sibley versus Blackburn. I think the most recent goal that we're going to have on today's list, but he absolutely stole the show in this one with the goal he scored. He was laid off from outside the box, and boy did he take his chance. Top bins. Christian Walton stood absolutely no chance. Great strike from the youngster. Fulham, Tom Cairney versus Blackburn. I've got to say, Blackburn have conceded some absolute bangers this season, but we're going back to the opening few months of the season for this one, and Tom Cairney with an absolute wonder goal. If there's one person who's got that in his locker to pull it out consistently, it is Tom Cairney. He's done that throughout his career, and this one against Blackburn was an absolute peach. He was still quite central naturally, but he bends the ball fantastically into the top corner with the amount of power that he generates in it as well to keep the strike controlled. Fulham have scored some great goals this season, but I think Kearney for me just about edges it. Huddersfield, we have to be going to Bacuna for that outrageous strike against Charlton a few weeks ago. This one really was the cherry on the cake in their performance. They were already 3-0 up at the time. It was the 90th minute. The game was already won for them, but he thought he may as well have a pop from distance, and oh my god, what a pop it was. He hit this one cleanly and it absolutely missiled its way past Phillips into the top corner. Absolute belter. Hull City, Kamil Grosicki versus Millwall. Times were a lot more simple for Hull back then, but oh my god, Grosicki and the things he could pull out of his locker. Set piece specialist, but I think that this one has got to edge it for Hull. 40 yards out on the left hand side. I don't think that anyone expected him to shoot, including the Millwall keeper, Bartosz Białkowski, but Grosicki brilliantly picked out the top corner to catch out Białkowski, and what an outrageous free kick and goal that was. Leeds United, Luke Ayling versus Huddersfield. Now, Leeds was a really tough one to pick because they've scored such a variety of fantastic goals throughout the year. It was hard to narrow it down to just one. You know, Pablo Hernandez's goal against Bristol City on the opening day. They scored some brilliant counter-attacking moves. Dallas against Stoke, that goal was brilliantly worked. Tyler Roberts against Hull. But I think I've got to give it to Luke Ayling. This one was absolutely fantastically taken from the right back. He timed his run to the far post fantastically. He hits the volley with both feet off the air and it crashes in off the crossbar. What more could you want? Luton Town, Sonny Bradley versus Middlesbrough. What an opening day to the Championship. We had a 3-3 thriller against Luton and Middlesbrough. This was the goal to level it up to make it 1-1. Sonny Bradley, their centre-back, not known for scoring bangers, but this one was so well taken. He chests it down on the edge of the box and then absolutely smashes it into the back of the net. Well worth their best goal this season. Middlesbrough, Ashley Fletcher versus West Brom. Wow, wow, wow. This goal was ridiculous. A half volley from 30-35 yards out. The ball fell to him. He saw that Sam Johnson was off his line, so he thought he'd have a crack at it. And the amount of power that this one got behind it and the way it perfectly arced and dipped its way past Sam Johnson. Unbelievable goal. Millwall, Jed Wallace versus Cardiff. I think I'd get a lot of satisfaction out of a cleanly hit free kick, and this was exactly what this one was. It was sort of quite similar to like Ronaldo's against Portsmouth, that iconic one from I think like back in like 2008. I don't think that many other people in the Championship have the technique, ability and daringness to pull that sort of thing off, but Jed Wallace has certainly got that in his locker and it was an absolute belter. He scored a few of them so far this season, to be fair to him. Nottingham Forest, Lewis Graben's first against Fulham. This was peak Lamucci ball where Nottingham Forest briefly turned into Barcelona. What a well-worked goal this one was. Started out at the back, a nice passage of play. The ball then gets into midfield with Joe Lolly. He has a nice 1-2 with Sam Bassau. Nice back heel from him. The ball then gets into Silva. He has a nice back heel back to Lolly. Lolly spreads the ball out wide to Robinson, and then Robinson with a perfectly arced ball into the middle finds its way into Lewis Graben and he has a tap in. I'm a real sucker for a team goal, and that was one of the best we've seen so far this season from Forest. Great football. Preston North End, Tom Barcusen versus Blackburn. I had a lot to choose from North End this season. We've scored some fantastic goals, but I think that given the occasion of this one, you know, we were 2-0 down against Blackburn at home. This was the goal that went on to win it, and what a goal it was. It was launched forward by Declan Rudd. Jaden Stockley chests it down into Alan Brown. Brown with a nice pass into Tom Barcusen, then Barcusen angles his body fantastically, hits it with the inside of his foot, and it just beautifully, gracefully bends into the top corner, makes it 3-2. And it was such a smooth goal with the build up to it and everything like that. It was so well worked. It was absolutely brilliant from North End. A couple of other contenders for us. Josh Harrop against Blackburn away from home. Josh Harrop against Charlton as well. Alan Brown against Leeds. Paul Gallagher against Wigan. We've scored a lot of good goals, but for me personally, I think I'd just edge it to Barcusen. QPR, Aberieze versus Stoke. I'm still not over just how good this goal is. I don't think I'll ever tire of watching it. This one is absolutely superb. The goal starts out with the goalkeeper. The ball's worked well through midfield. The ball is then given to Eze in the centre circle and he just takes off. It's a fantastic run from Eze. He does a scoop turn on the edge of the box to make a Stoke defender look silly and then fires in with his right foot. It's unbelievable technique. And then after it, the Stoke defenders are just sort of looking around at themselves like, what on earth has happened here? This was the moment where Eze really introduced himself as the force that he was going to go on to become this season. I remember speaking about it on the first episode of the Championship Roundup this season. Aberieze, I've run out of words to describe the guy now, but that goal Wow. Reading John Swift versus QPR. Swift so far this season has been fantastic at setting up goals, but he's not too bad at scoring them either. This one fell for him on the edge of the box. He took one touch to lay himself off and then hit it really cleanly into the top corner. Keeper stood no chance. It went on to be the winning goal of the game. John Swift, fantastic season, fantastic goal. Sheffield Wednesday, Jordan Rhodes versus Nottingham Forest. So of course we're talking about his third goal, the bicycle kick. Jordan Rhodes really came into this season, scored a hat-trick against Nottingham Forest, and then we've not seen him ever since. He scored 3 goals this season, all of which came in that game against Forest, but the pick of the goals had to be the third one. I mean, it's not the typical goal we'd associate with Jordan Rhodes, a bicycle kick, but what a finish it was. It fell from him perfectly for him to try it inside the box, and everything was coming off for him that day. What a time to be alive in the Championship. Stoke City, Sam Clucas versus Barnsley. Sam Clucas has got a bit of a collection of belters he scored this season, but the first he scored against Barnsley from the halfway line, what more could you want? I mean, this one did come from a goalkeeping mistake. It was Collins who had given the ball away to Clucas on the halfway line. He had the look up and then released an absolute cannon of a shot which found its way into the back of the net. Clucas also scored another absolute fantastic goal in that game as well. The guy just does not score tap-ins, but yeah, that one was a particularly good one from him. Swansea City, I'm going to give it to Wayne Routledge for his goal against Hull. A really nicely worked team goal, this one. Playing out from the back, I think there was about 10 passes in the build up to this one. It was really Conor Gallagher who made the goal with a really nice scoop turn and then ball across the box to Routledge to mean that he had a tap in. But the way it was worked and they passed their way around Hull, I thought was fantastic. Swansea have got a couple of other contenders in there. You know, AU scored a couple of nice ones this season. Brewster against Blackburn was a really nice finish, but for the team goal, I think I'd give it to Routledge. West Brom, Charlie Austin versus Birmingham for his first goal. This was superbly taken. In the end, Austin was the difference in this game as West Brom went to win by 3 goals to 2, turning this one around. But the technique on the first goal was absolutely outrageous. He was given the ball on the edge of the box with him facing his own goal. He takes one touch to get the ball out of his feet, spins around 180 degrees and then picks out the top corner like it's absolutely nothing. That was peak Charlie Austin right there. Wigan Athletic, Kiefer Moore versus Reading. Perhaps the cheekiest goal on this list. Kiefer Moore, we don't usually associate him scoring these type of goals, but the technique on this was absolutely superb as well. The ball came into him in the box and then in midair he let the ball go through his feet and then chopped it and then with his back heel found the far post past Raphael and the whole Reading defence was shook. It was brilliant invention and a back heel volley from Moore. That's going to take some topping from Wigan for the rest of the season. But guys, there we have it. There is every Championship club and what I believe to be the best goal that they have scored so far this season. So let me know down below, what do you think has been your best goal or perhaps your favourite goal that you've seen your team score so far this season. Apologies that I couldn't actually show the goals themselves. I would like to do that, but obviously copyright's a thing, so I'm not able to. But guys, that will now wrap it up for today's video. So if you did go on to enjoy, make sure you do leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. Make sure you subscribe for some regular Championship content. Even though we do have no football going on at the moment, I am still really enjoying making videos and your response to them lately has been absolutely fantastic. So thanks very much for that, guys. But like I say, apart from that, thanks for watching and I'll see you all in the next one.